Attention passionate Atlanta, Falcons fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC South and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Atlanta Falcons' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Atlanta Falcons fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Atlanta, FALCONS FANS. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you've been paying close attention to the NFL landscape lately, you know that the offseason is always packed with surprises, rumors, and bold moves. But this year, it feels like something even bigger is brewing, especially in the NFC South, a division that's been somewhat unpredictable over the past few seasons, but one that's now potentially on the verge of a major shakeup. And for us Falcons fans, that's both exciting and a little nerve-wracking, because change always brings a mix of hope and uncertainty. So, what exactly is happening? Well, a recent thought experiment from Bleacher Report's Brent Sobolski has sparked a lot of conversation among NFL aficionados and Falcons faithful alike. Sobolski explored a hypothetical three-team trade scenario that could significantly impact the division, and more importantly, the Falcons' future trajectory. Now, I know what you're thinking. Trade rumors, really? How serious can this be? But trust me, the details are intriguing enough to get anyone talking, especially considering the potential ripple effects on Atlanta's roster and their championship ambitions. In Sobolski's scenario, the Falcons are caught in trade talks with two division rivals, the Cincinnati Bengals and the Indianapolis Colts. Sounds complicated. It is, but it's also the kind of bold move that could redefine a franchise's course. The first part of this hypothetical involves the Bengals acquiring a key player from Atlanta, while the Colts and Falcons swap other assets. The proposed deal sees the Bengals getting a talented but underperforming tight end, Kyle Pitts. Yes, Pitts, the player many of us had high hopes for when he was drafted 4th overall just a few years ago. Meanwhile, the Colts would get a defensive end, Trey Hendrickson, a veteran pass rusher known for his relentless style and ability to pressure quarterbacks. And in the most interesting part of the deal, the Falcons would send defensive tackle Deforest Buckner to the Colts. Now, this is where things get really strategic. Buckner, a 9-year NFL veteran, is a proven force on the interior defensive line. Sobolski suggests that the Falcons, in an effort to shake up their defensive front, could ship Buckner to Indianapolis. The idea is that Atlanta has been trying to reset their defense this offseason, and bringing in someone of Buckner's caliber could be a game-changer. His ability to stop the run, collapse the pocket, and command double teams could provide the missing piece for a Falcons defense that's looking to become more disruptive. And with young players like Jalen Walker and James Pierce Jr. stepping into bigger roles, having a veteran anchor like Buckner could accelerate their development and make Atlanta's defense much more formidable. Think about it, adding a player like Buckner could help turn the Falcons' defensive struggles into a real strength, especially against the run, which has been an Achilles heel in recent seasons. Now, here's where the trade gets even more interesting. Sobolski isn't exactly sold on Kyle Pitts living up to the hype in Atlanta. Despite his potential, the 24-year-old tight end hasn't quite become the game-changing tight end many envisioned after his spectacular college career and his high draft position. Sobolski argues that a change of scenery might be exactly what Pitts needs to reinvent himself. The Cincinnati Bengals, with their explosive offense led by Joe Burrow, could be the perfect environment for Pitts to thrive. When you think about the Bengals' offense, with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins stretching the field, adding Pitts into the mix could open up even more options for Burrow. Sobolski suggests that Pitts working alongside those receivers, in a system designed to maximize his mismatches, could unlock his full potential, something that Atlanta might not be able to do currently, given their offensive scheme and the pressure to perform right away. Imagine Pitts in Cincinnati, creating nightmares for defenses trying to cover him underneath or over the middle. If he can find his rhythm, he could become a vital piece for the Bengals' Super Bowl aspirations. Sobolski even mentioned that Pitts could replace Mike Gesicki, who's expected to take on a bigger role after signing with Cincinnati. That's a bold statement, but it underscores the belief that Pitts has the talent, if he can just find the right fit. But of course, not all trade scenarios are solely about acquiring young talent. There's also the pressing need for the Falcons to address their quarterback situation. And this is where the trade rumors get even more intriguing. Sobolski's hypothetical involves the Falcons moving on from Kirk Cousins, the veteran quarterback currently under contract, but who, at 36, might be nearing the end of his NFL journey. In this scenario, the Falcons would send Cousins to the New Orleans Saints, a division rival, in exchange for tight end Dawson Knox, a player who could fit well into Atlanta's offense. This move would serve a couple of purposes. First, it would send Cousins to a division rival, which is always a strategic move, weakening a division opponent while strengthening your own roster. Second, Knox, who's shown flashes of potential with the Bills, could be a perfect fit as a versatile two-tight end weapon that could thrive in Atlanta's offense, especially once Pitt's fifth-year option is exercised. Sobolski compares this move to what the Philadelphia Eagles did with Donovan McNabb years ago, providing a veteran presence that can still produce, but isn't necessarily the long-term answer. For Atlanta, bringing in Knox could mean creating a dual tight end set that's difficult for defenses to handle, giving Desmond Ridder, or whoever is under center, more options and more versatility. It's a move that could accelerate Atlanta's offensive identity and make them more unpredictable. Now you might be thinking, wow, that's a lot of moving parts, and some of these trades seem a little out there. But the truth is, in today's NFL, bold moves are often what separate contenders from pretenders. The Falcons are at a crossroads. They're trying to build a team that can contend now, but they also have young players with immense potential, like Pitts, that they don't want to give up on too early. The question is whether a trade like this, hypothetical or not, is the right move for the Falcons' long-term success. And let's not forget the context of this offseason. Atlanta's front office has been active, addressing needs on both sides of the ball, adding veterans, and trying to find that perfect balance between competitiveness and building for the future. The defense, in particular, is a priority. After finishing near the bottom in several key defensive categories last season, the Falcons are eager to improve their run defense and pass rush. Bringing in a veteran like Buckner could be a statement move, signaling to the league that Atlanta is serious about competing at the highest level. At the same time, the offensive side is not to be overlooked. Desmond Ridder is entering his second season, and although he showed flashes of promise, Atlanta's success will heavily depend on how well he develops. The addition of a reliable tight end and a stronger offensive line will be crucial. Pitt's development, or lack thereof, could be the difference between a playoff berth and missing out altogether. That's why the speculation around his future, whether he stays or is traded, is so intense. It's a defining moment for both the player and the franchise. From a broader perspective, the NFC South is also evolving. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are in a bit of a rebuild mode, and the New Orleans Saints are trying to find their identity after some roster changes. The Carolina Panthers are building around their young quarterback, Bryce Young, and the division as a whole is in flux. If the Falcons can execute bold moves, like the ones suggested in this hypothetical trade, they could position themselves as the division's new powerhouse, ready to challenge the status quo. The NFL offseason is always a time of hope, speculation, and sometimes shock value. Fans love to dream about blockbuster trades, draft surprises, and roster upgrades. And for us Falcons fans, this kind of news fuels that fire of optimism. We know that building a Super Bowl-winning team isn't just about one big move. It's about strategic, well-thought-out decisions that set the foundation for sustained success. It's about the front office recognizing where the team needs to improve and being willing to make bold, sometimes controversial, moves to get there. And that's what makes this offseason so exciting. Will Atlanta pull the trigger on a trade that shakes up the division? Will they take a chance on a player like Pitts, or will they opt to build around him with a different blueprint? These are questions only time will answer. But one thing is clear, Atlanta is not just sitting still. They're actively trying to position themselves as contenders, and recent rumors and hypothetical scenarios only add to the anticipation. For us, die-hard Falcons fans, it's a roller coaster of emotions. We're hopeful, a little anxious, but mostly eager to see what this team will do next. Every offseason move, every draft pick, every trade rumor is a piece of the puzzle that could lead to a new era of success. The Falcons have a passionate fan base, a talented roster, and a coaching staff that's eager to prove themselves. And with the NFC South possibly on the verge of a power shift, this season could be the one where everything changes. So, stay tuned, keep the faith, and remember that in the NFL, anything can happen. The Falcons have the pieces, the talent, and the drive to make a real push toward a Super Bowl run. It's all about making the right moves at the right time, and we're here to cover every step of that journey. Whether it's trades, signings, or game day battles, we'll be right here with you, breaking down every detail, every development, and every moment that could define the future of Atlanta Falcons football. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Atlanta Falcons news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. Looking ahead, the upcoming months are bound to be crucial for the Falcons. The NFL draft, free agency, and potential trades will all shape what this team looks like come the fall. Will they stick with their current roster and try to develop what they have? Or will they pull off a blockbuster move that could turn the division upside down? That's the excitement that keeps us fans on the edge of our seats, eagerly anticipating every report, every rumor, and every official announcement. And honestly, given the history of the Falcons, how they've bounced back from adversity, how they've always fought to stay competitive, there's every reason to believe that this team isn't done yet. They're not just aiming for a playoff appearance, they want to contend for a Super Bowl. And in today's NFL, that means being bold, willing to take risks, and making strategic moves that can change everything overnight. So whether it's about acquiring a veteran like Buckner, reshaping the offense around a new tight end, or even making a bold decision in the quarterback position, the Falcons are showing that they're serious about competing at the highest level once again. And as fans, that's all we can ask for: hope, passion, and the thrill of watching our team chase greatness. And now, Atlanta Falcons fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Atlanta Falcons. Do you think these hypothetical trades make sense? Would you be willing to see Pitts moved if it meant a better chance at a Super Bowl? Or do you believe in sticking with the young talent and developing them? Whatever your thoughts, share them. We love to hear your perspective. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Atlanta Falcons news, rumors, and analysis. This season promises to be one of the most exciting in recent memory, and I can't wait to see how it unfolds. Thanks for being part of this journey with us. Let's keep that passion alive, Falcons fans. The best is yet to come.